Okay, we got her all recapped. We got some of the resistors replaced on it. Those were out of tolerance, way out of tolerance. Some were double. We got the Y caps, safety caps in. Electrolytics done. Old cap clipped from the circuits. Let me see. Got the chassis cleaned. And see if I can turn this up here without wrecking everything. Got the chassis all cleaned up, and the tuner and the push button assembly taken apart and cleaned. This push button assembly, one spring was missing from one of these, and I had to come up with a makeshift spring in it, but it's not functioning very good, but it is in, and it's not holding like it should, because there's no springiness to it. All the rest are just natural. That looks like a banding strap that they used for banding up pallets and stuff. I couldn't come up with anything, and I had to use some aluminum that was about the same thickness, and consequently it's not holding tight on the chingus there. So it is what it is. But the other ones are, let's see what I get. So they're functioning. I just got to get the dial face, the dial structure cross member on it. The dial is already in. The dial is done and is flat once again. I don't know how long it's been curled up like it was, but that'll be ready to go back on. And I have the pleasure of figuring out this dial restringing guide. I don't believe they published one with this. They may have. I don't remember seeing one, but I do have it from the other 729 that I did previous to this. I did do a sketch of it. So, and why they did those things this way, I have no idea, but it sure is cumbersome. So you got to hold your tongue in the right cheek at the right position. What else did we got to do here? I got to check all the tubes and make sure they're up to snuff. And on the, yeah, boy, that's a heavy doggone chassis. The old RCA thing was screwed up on the middle conductor, or the middle pin, and it left the thing suspect for shorting. So I got rid of it and replaced it with a gold-plated RCA jack on the back. And she's all finished and ready to go back together. The cabinet is getting its second skin, and I've got to take and coat it. It's been restained already. So stay tuned for more. Okay, moving on. We've got this dial panel back installed on the push button rack. The diagram that I had for this, and I'm not really sure if it was one I sketched or I got it off a PDF of all types of dial stringing diagrams. But if you notice that if I turn this thing counterclockwise, it goes to the high portion of the dial. If I turn it the opposite direction, this way, it goes to the bottom portion of the dial. Now, to me, with all the other radios, clockwise always meant that it starts at the low end and goes to the high end. It follows the dial direction. But this doesn't. I've tried my boomerang won't come back. To get this thing to go in, like all the other ones, and it don't come back. So I got no other recourse than to just leave it like they designed it. There's just no way in the world, and it stems from the way that they designed the mechanism for the tuner section, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, now in the regular the string diagram, the spring is located in this slant portion of the dial of the string, and it travels from the low end down here to the upper end over here when it's all the way this way towards the high side of the dial. Well, anybody who's tried doing this particular model, or a model similar to this with the same kind of dial, knows how much of a pain in the booty it is to try to hook two pieces of string behind this dial plate, especially, you see that spring? That my hands ain't big by any means. I'm a small dude, but that spring there is like trying to handle a flea and trying to hook two pieces of string on it with a fine wire as it is on these loops. So I relocated it up here. What I did was I curled this little gizzy thing around in a U shape. I don't know if that thing will focus well enough. In a U shape, and put a hole in the center thing here, because if you try to put the spring from the end here out this way, it encroaches on this wheel and wants to derail. So I moved it up here, drilled a small, I don't know, about a 61, number 61 bit or something like that in there. I use it for my PCB through holes, and I drilled a hole through that to mount the spring, and I moved it consequently from the back diagonal portion to right up here, because everything is right up here where you can work it. women back then probably didn't have a problem restringing the damn things and getting it adjusted right. At least this way, if you make your windings on your drive wheel here, three winds all the way around that drum, and then come back up. That is, I don't know if you can see it very well, that is a cross pattern. That is an X pattern right there. It goes off the drum above and comes on the drum above. It crosses right at that point right there. And this side comes up and goes around. Makes it a hell of a lot simpler to restring this thing. You hook this thing on here, doesn't make any difference where this thing is in this travel. Just hook your end of your string here and drill that hole. Put your spring in there already and leave this end ready for the other portion, the other end of the string. And once you got it dialed around here 3 times, you come back up and you go across, hook it on that wire there, hook it on that spring, and then what you would do is you would set this thing all the way to its minimum, which means that thing should be way down here on the end. And what you do, wherever this thing is, loosen your set screw. Some people call it a grub screw. I don't know why. It's a grub screw. Loosen your set screw and let it slide on the dial here, and then spin this thing to wherever you need it there, and then lock the set screw down on the shaft. And you're ready to flow. I don't know why this thing won't stay focused now. God, you think they could do better with technology? I mean, they can make algorithms to make your life miserable. They can't go darn get a damn camera to focus. I guess so you don't record the police at will. So anyway, there you go. That makes a simple process out of something that was really complex back then. So that's all set, ready to go. Stay tuned for more.